Hi, this is Steve Jankowski from the Way 1711 Ministries, and we're out here Saturday at the Tall Ships of Duluth. Hundreds of thousands of people are converging on Duluth. You can see in the background, you see the people, you can see maybe some of the ships, and we're out here sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, proclaiming the good news. And I'm with a man of God, Tom Keith, and he is from the Hayward area. We know him through fellowship and decided to come up here. And Tom, what do you think so far? What's going on in your mind? This is kind of like one of the first times you've ever really done this. You know, kind of maybe lead up to what's going on, and then being out here. And
yeah, well, I met Steve over a year ago. I'm not sure when it was, but he challenged me with his ministry, the ministry that God gave him. And you know, I've been born again 12 years, and I used to witness to every single person I met. But I kind of got involved in what's right and wrong about the church and got into knowledge, and it wasn't in my heart. And I asked God for faith. I didn't produce any fruit of the Spirit. I had no love, and so all I really believed was Jesus forgave my sins, but I didn't see that he also saved me from my sin, and that was faith that I was lacking. So as I believe God put Steve in my life to kind of challenge me about this kind of ministry, this witnessing, not just one-on-one, but to everybody you meet in a large crowded area. And what's going through my mind, this is the first time, well, I handed out tracts once before in a large crowd, and you know, I learned that God does put people out there that are hungry. And so I'm here today, and I found probably a few people that don't want to hear what I have to say, doesn't want to hear the truth. But I also see that there are people who are seeking God. They can see, they've woke up enough to see the sin and death in the world.
Amen.
And so just by getting out there, I encourage you just to go out and just, you don't have to have a banner, but you know, God lays on our heart, get a banner, but just go ask people. Just go ask people. That's what I'm learning today. Then I am struggling a little bit with faith, but I don't have to. Jesus just said, don't be afraid, just believe. So I'm trying to remember that.
Praise the Lord. People say that this type of ministry doesn't work. It's not relational enough. It's not, you know, the people nowadays, you know, we need to become friends with them and hang out with them, you know, and kind of have a relationship with them in order to open up the door to the gospel. But now that you've been doing this for a short period of time, do you feel like this type of ministry, you know, being on the streets with the shirts and the banners, and you know, we were doing a little bit of you know, silent open air preaching, you could say, to the people while they were walking by. Do you think this type of ministry is effective, and why? And also, maybe to go further with that, do you have any stories to prove that it is?
Well, first of all, I've been convicted and convinced today. I thought many times about Jesus and the woman at the well, and I thought, well, that's the way, you know, man thinks have a big crusade and speak the truth to 100,000 people at one time. But I used to see it as Jesus went to one woman at the well, sent his disciples into town for food. But what I didn't see is I didn't go far enough with that story. And once the lady had become a believer, well, she went and told her friends. Her friends came out to see him, and then Jesus preached. And he said that you will do what I do and more. So it's obviously that Jesus meant for us to go out in public and preach open air like he did. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that you're supposed to do this if God has given you that gift, or maybe that command. That command.
It's a command. And so being convinced, what are some things that convinced you that this type, the thing that we're doing here, is I don't even want to use the words effective, because as I've talked to you before, you know, 1 Corinthians 3, Paul says that we either sow seeds or that we water seeds, and that God gets the increase. And so the effectiveness really has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Like you said, we're commanded to go out and preach the gospel.
Amen.
We're commanded to go out and sow seeds. What are some things that you have seen here today, or some stories that you can share that have happened? You know, some exciting things, or that make you think, hey, this is effective, or this is what we should be doing.
Many people that I've talked to have received what I had to say with amens. But I did meet one man, and he was searching. I could see it.
Lord.
And you talk, Steve, about planting or sowing and watering. I believe that God literally used me as a waterer in this situation. Not 2 weeks ago, a man with a Megadeth T-shirt, hard rock metal band that he's a faithful follower of, went to a Vineyard concert. And so he said, I heard what they had to say. I'm not fully convinced. I'm kind of on the periphery. Well, I saw that as a perfect window. He was very patient, very soft. And I said, can I have a minute? And he said, sure. I just got here. So, he wasn't anxious. It was God. And so I took 5 and actually challenged him on, first of all, what God kind of gave me a message today was on that we are created, not evolved, as a kind of an entrance into saying then you need to have a relationship with God and that we are separated from him and that Jesus made a way back to him. That not only can we have the relationship that he had with the first man in the garden, but also be saved. That's greater love. It's greater love. Not just to restore the original relationship, but to be saved and see his love for us. So, why did sin enter the earth? So God could save us. Yeah. And so, yes, this man was, he said he would go home and check out this website. Yeah. And he meant it. And I know he will. And he will find God.
That's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
It's exciting to be